Who?
I don't want to lose people.
You're not gonna lose anybody. You lose them when you start showing
Yeah,
us on the
it's our
stream.
unpreparedness that loses
That's
people.
when you lose people. Who's unprepared?
I'm always prepared. I'm prepared to be disappointed. It's just a matter of.
Has everyone read the articles that they're going to be referencing today?
No.
Absolutely not. So why would we never do that before? So why would we start now?
I don't know what he's talking about.
I'm not sure what I'm doing here.
Startup Zencaster.
Yeah.
Then introduce it.
Okay. Wait a minute. Now you get me questioning.
We didn't. Did we tweet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When? You guys have been on here way longer than I have been. That's
Maybe
not fair.
120 seconds longer.
That might be 1,000,000,000%, depending on how you do math.
So if you do it poorly, it's 1,000,000,000%.
Wait, that's not what I want. Bear with me, everybody that might possibly be listening to us live. I'm trying to get stuff done. These people decided to start on time, which is so weird. I'm not used to this.
It is weird. Thomas, you need to start muting though.
Yeah. Or just give up the whole vaping thing. That would work too.
That's an option. Finish off my green tea, my beer at the same time. You need to play the Harry Mack. Play the Harry Mack, Thomas. Play Harry Mack. I'm listening to Harry Mack. Let's get in the mood.
1, 2, 1, 2. Coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know, Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with a clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John. You know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all, peace to the whole squad, man. Hope your channel is doing real well on YouTube. Hope you guys are having fun. And it was an honor and blessing to do this little custom freestyle for y'all. Hope you enjoy. Stay up.
That kicks it off for me, man. Every time. I love that song. That's one of the best part of editing the show is popping that song on, listening to it. I've been. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, we had friends over. We went. I'll save that part for the show. But anyway,
yeah.
I told somebody that we're going to be recording tonight and to be ready for our show. And then after they left, I had my 6-year-old saying, "Why can't we watch your show?" I'm like, "What? PHP Ugly?" Yeah. And so I'm talking to him like, "Well, it's about PHP. You want to be interested?" He goes, "And it's not professional."
I've been watching his YouTube channel, Harry Mack's YouTube channel.
Oh, I watch it all the time.
Oh my god, it's just so amazing. I mean, the guy is a savant or something. Though, I don't know how he does it. I mean, the
Practice?
fact that he
Just like anything else, practice?
no, it's not practice though, dude. People are like throwing out 3-4 random words at him, and he's just like weaving them together.
Yeah, but that's what he says. He practices all the time. He didn't start out doing this, 15, 20 years ago. He's practiced it. Like anything else in your life. You have to have a passion for it, and then you have to practice to get good at it.
I've been passionate and practicing PHP for years, and I suck. Probably start the show though. Hold on. Went a little heavy on the cup here. Hold on 1 second. All right. Okay, let's do this. We ready?
Yes.
It's Thursday night, and welcome to PHP Ugly episode 216, your number one podcast for all things PHP, PHP related, and just general PHP chat, tech chat, geek chat. Who knows what we're going to throw your way. We're unpredictable. We're unpredictable. I can't do it. I can't do the Harry Mac. I need a hook or something. Anyways, I'm your host, Eric Dan Johnson, and with me is John Congdon.
I think you need more than a hook. I'm just saying.
And
Hello. I'll be your hook.
I might add a very professional-looking Tom right out. I should start calling you Tom right out. You look very professional. I guess Thomas would be the more professional word, but you got the specs on.
Yeah, finally got my glasses in. Very excited. It's a bizarre learning curve to just have something on your face all the time that changes how you see. So.
Are you noticing it?
Oh yeah. It's I'm turning 40 in a month, so I've gone 40 years without having to have any kind of eye exam or check at any kind, and my vision is actually 2015. So my vision's quite good, but I have astigmatism, which means that when I'm reading things, they blur double vision. And I didn't notice it. It just happened so slowly that it never occurred to me. And now I can read things.
Then you wake up one morning and it's like, oh my gosh, I can't see my phone.
Well, I was getting headaches, and I was reading things about causes, and it turns out that this is one of the causes. And I was having a lot of weird eye strain.
I get headaches too. Every Thursday night around 9:10, 9:15. Get this throb headache.
So I'm excited. These are very nice glasses. They cost a lot of money, and they'll last longer than any pair my kids have ever owned.
Until you accidentally roll over on them one time, and then you're gonna be like, "What was I thinking?"
No, I'm being so careful with these.
What's gonna be horrible? Yeah, exactly. What's going to be horrible is you're going to get so used to them that what you could get by with reading without your glasses on, you no longer can get by reading anymore. It's like your brain won't even try to decipher the blur it's looking at anymore. It's like, hey man, I know you got the specs, put them on.
It's like
I'm already getting a little bit of that. But they're also they have the blue blocking filter on them, so the computer eye strain isn't as bad. I'm very happy with them.
John's showing his support, wearing some glasses as well.
Same ones I had last week. They're basically no prescription, although when I actually look without them and then put them on, things are crisper. So I definitely need glasses, and I keep putting off making an appointment.
Yeah, last one, man. You need to do it.
No, I'm going to. I have to. I'm at that point where I do look at my cell phone, and it's like, whoa, I'm not seeing this like I used to. It's frustrating, but 'tis life. I will make do.
Well, we are back for another installment of our wonderful little podcast. PHP Ugly.
Yes.
How was everyone's week?
I prepared very well by taking my kids and the one family that we are seeing, like our within
You're
our
seeing
bubble.
another family?
Your bubble, yep.
Yeah. And so me and a few of our neighbors rented a golf cart for the month. We did it last year too, but split the cost of a golf cart for a month. And then had our friends over, and we took them over to Christmas Card Lane, which is right next door to us, and rode around. It's such a fun experience just to get out, see lights, hang out, and doing it on a golf cart.
I'm not.
Sorry, I apologize. I must have missed that email. I'm sorry. I definitely would have come had I been invited. I'm sure I was. Whatever.
No, you're sorry. You're not in the bubble.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that doesn't sound fun, because that does sound fun, but it also sounds like the whitest thing you could possibly do.
Yeah, it is for sure.
I don't follow.
What's
the white part? The golf cart or the candy cane or Christmas?
The whole thing together, along with the ugly sweater that says "Go Vegan."
Don't have one yet, but I'm sure I will soon. It's on my Christmas list.
I'll see what I can get.
Okay.
I felt like this show just came to a halt.
Yeah. Who goes first? I don't remember this.
Thomas, how was
Seeing how you stalled it, why don't you go ahead and try to start this thing?
Not a whole lot this week until Wednesday. I mean, I got my glasses and I've been acclimating to that, but then all of a sudden, Cyberpunk 2077 comes out. My life is over.
I saw you playing that the other day, so I went and I started watching the trailers, and it looks interesting.
It's very good.
So it's a video game for those that do not know.
It's a video game adaptation of a tabletop game.
Oh, really?
Oh, it's Cyberpunk a tabletop
yeah,
game?
originally developed by a guy named Mike Pondsmith. It was a D&D style game.
All I know is you weren't allowed to see the game on Steam until you entered your birth date because it could have language, nudity, this, that.
Oh, I heard there's a whole junk sizing stuff
yes.
in the
yes, I did customize my penis.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah. This is a thing. This is apparently a thing in this game.
Yep.
Yeah. I have not. I don't get into playing video games. I honestly just don't have the time, and I should make the time. But I do like watching YouTubers play it, and the normal YouTubers I go to watch play games, the ones that were playing Cyberpunk. I don't know, man. I was nodding off. There was like nothing.
Well, it's a classic format RPG, so you're dealing with a lot of story elements, character development. Conversation is one of the ways to resolve conflict. So it can be a little slow and boring if you're not into it, but so far I'm 6 hours or so in. I'm really digging it.
6 hours, man. That just seems like
that's time. Entertainment. But the big bad news is that the game is very buggy. It has a lot of graphical glitches, a lot of issues with pathing on the AI, a lot of audio issues for some people. And then the versions for the original Xbox and PlayStation are hideous, just unbelievably bad. They look like Grand Theft Auto 3. But I mean, if you get past that stuff, there's a lot in there. There's a lot to do, and it's fun, and it'll, eventually lead to my divorce.
Wait, you're
How are
claiming
you, John?
you're still married?
Yeah. We know how this game ends, Tom.
No, Eric,
Besides that, for actual PHP stuff, I have been working with Laravel's new batched jobs functionality. And
Batch jobs
So-
functionality?
I am not familiar with
this is
the
a
term.
new thing with Laravel 8. You know what job chaining was, where you could run one job after the other if they succeeded? So as one succeeded,
Yeah,
the next
I
one
knew
would
that.
execute. The problem with that is that you can't multi-thread processing your jobs that way, because each one has to wait for the previous one to finish. And so batching was introduced, where you basically create an array of jobs and send them all at once to your queue manager, whatever it is. I'm using Horizon. And Horizon tracks that one batch of jobs and can react in special ways to failed jobs, to success of all the jobs, finishing the job, like finishing the batch. You can put closures into it to execute post-batch commands. You can add to the batch or remove from the batch while it's executing.
What is the
Really?
so it says job batching. Laravel's job batching feature allows you to easily execute a batch of jobs and then perform some actions when the batch of jobs has completed executing. I mean, is that what the benefit is? Like, you have a batch of jobs that says send out all emails, and then
Yeah.
once all the emails
Yeah.
are sent out,
You can also have a batch
What-
of
okay.
chained jobs. So if you need to send an email and then once the email is sent, you need to mark it as sent in the database, you can do chaining of batches of chained jobs. You can do a lot of very cool stuff with it. Unfortunately, I ran into a massive bug. What I had was I need to have a command that executes a process on all of the records we have in our database on one of our tables in the area of 12,000 records. And so I had a job that added jobs to the queue. When I converted that to a batch and added a finally statement to it, a closure, it would get stuck in an infinite serialization loop. So
interesting.
it took me
So you're the person using finally.
yes.
I don't
So
know who
it
that
took
was.
me a couple weeks, or a couple days to narrow down what exactly was causing this. And now that I know that when the batch is created from within a job, that's the issue, I have it fixed so that it's working on my system. So I create the batch from the controller, and the first job in the batch adds all the other jobs to be processed to the batch before executing. So it basically says build up this giant batch and then execute it. And it's working well now, but it did take several days to figure out what was going wrong.
That's interesting. So there's no performance benefits or anything like that to batching. It's just a way of organizing jobs and saying, okay, this group of jobs all do something that once they're done, I want something to happen.
Right, and there's features because you're running a batch of jobs and not individual jobs. You can name the batch, you can track the percentage of completion on the batch, you can track the failure rate of that batch, and then you can interact with the batch once it's done because it stays in the database under a job batches table. So you can interact with it at will. But being a new feature,
because we have some jobs that run that it would be nice to know, but it's only one job really. We have one job that runs for a client that it would be nice to know the percentage of completion. But again, it's only one job, so it's that would I don't think that would work in this batch scenario.
It works only if you break that job down into parts, right?
right?
You would have to create
then
multiple jobs.
Yeah, and then it's just estimating, right? It says, okay, you have 4 jobs in here, 2 of them have completed, so you're 50% done, but it doesn't know how long those last 2 jobs are going to run for. So it's kind of a guesstimation.
Yes and no. I mean, if you're talking about the one job I think you're talking about, billing.
Yeah, billing, yeah.
Yeah, so instead of right now, it's a loop that loops over every record in the table. You do that loop to create jobs. You have to assume each job is roughly the same amount of time. So instead of
a job.
Right, instead of the loop, right now the loop is you grab all the records from the table, and then each pass through the loop you're hitting a credit card. Right now it'd be run through that loop real quick and create 1,000 jobs. Right. Or a batch of 1,000 jobs, so that now you can track, okay, I've completed 500 of them. That gets rid of, that way you can multiplex, or you can do those in parallel possibly. I don't know if
yeah.
Did you say you can't?
So batching allows you to run your jobs in parallel. Chaining does not run parallel.
Yeah, so you take that 1,000 records that you need to process cards for, create one batch of 1,000 jobs. Those can go in parallel, so that you can speed through them much faster than we are currently, and you can get an estimate of how far done you are, where you failed. What it does break is some of the things we've built in there, like we have what's called a breaking feature, where if X number of cards in a row fail for some reason, we can say, whoa, let's stop. We don't want to process more, because it could be we can't communicate with the processor, some other issue
You can still do that. There are 3 closures available to batches, which is error, success, and finally.
Yeah, but they're not necessarily errors. They could be declines. So that's the problem. They've had issues. This client has had issues in the past where something's broken in the workflow, where their processor just sends them back a bunch of declines, and they're none the wiser for a couple of days before they realize, oh hey, half of the people got declined. So that might not always work. It would work in the case, like you said, the failures where it's not able to communicate. That's something to look into. We got to get to Laravel 8 first.
Yeah. Well, the other question is, can you monitor that per batch? So let's say you create 1,000 jobs in the batch, and the first 100 come back with a failure. Can you catch that fast enough to stop the other 900 jobs?
Yeah, because batches are ID'd, and you can actually look it up in the database. So if I describe job batches, the table has the ID, the name, the total number of jobs, the number pending, the number that have failed, the IDs for the failed jobs, and then options. And the nicest thing about this use case for you guys is you can cancel a batch programmatically. So you can pull up the batch and call the cancel method, and all jobs in that will stop executing. And
that's a fascinating.
Yeah, and on the cancel closure, you can throw an event or a mail to or something like that.
Can you imagine right now, this sequential job that takes an hour, between 1 and 2 hours to run, you can do it in parallel and probably get it done in minutes.
It's nice.
Yeah. I think that would actually probably make the client a little nervous because that's one of the jobs he monitors through Argus. And if he gets back to finish too soon, he might be alarmed. Speaking of
he would
Argus,
he would get back a successful, hey, this job completed successfully.
That's true. Yeah. Speaking of Argus, John, I think I need to launch that this weekend, man.
I thought you did already. What the hell?
No, I've been pushing out.
Oh, it's the early bird special all over again.
I want to do a little bit more testing on the FAQs that I had slammed in there at the last minute. I really want to try to tie them together to the bot, but I don't think I'm going to worry about that. I think I'm just going to make sure billing works and just release it.
Let's beat Google on this. Release it and iterate.
And then once everybody's happy with it, just shut it down.
God, Google. Why'd you have to go there?
I thought that's where you wanted me to go. Sorry.
I hate Google. Oh my God.
I did too.
So we use Google Fi for our phones. We use Hangouts for our messaging. And all of a sudden I get a message today. Hey, by the way, if you're using Google Fi, it's not going to work with Hangouts in
I saw that.
X amount of time. It's like, what are you talking about? They're both Google products. How could you break the interaction between them? Nope, you're screwed. You got to change this and that, and I am just so frustrated.
Yeah, I'm thinking about.
Google wants everything to be through their apps. Cancel. Stop listening to me.
Sorry, I don't know how to
Yes.
help with that.
Stop. They want everything to be through the web, which means you don't get a specific desktop app. And while the Hangouts app wasn't great, there was at least a Chrome extension that acted as its own app. Now I have to remember to open this messages tab. And if I don't do that, I'm not going to get my messages correctly.
We actually have to open
so
up two
frustrating.
tabs, right? You have to open up messages and you have to open up chat. Or did I misunderstand that?
No, their new web app for messages is your chat, your SMS, your voicemail, all of that in one center. It's just the fact that you have to remember to open it for it to be active.
Okay.
I'm assuming
I
they
don't
will have a Chrome extension at some point, but
do you get your chats through messages now, John?
I think so. I don't.
I still have to have messages in chat open. I don't get them through messages.
I don't do enough with with chat. The only person I chatted with was my wife, and we've since moved to Signal.
Oh, you moved to Signal? Yeah, I'm thinking about taking this opportunity and moving the family to either Telegram or Signal. Probably Telegram. I have people on Telegram that I chat with fairly frequently, so I might
have Telegram on my computer.
You do or don't?
I do not. Not since I've moved to
Yeah, I don't have Telegram.
It's there though. Well, I don't chat with you guys, so screw y'all. That's what I have to say about that.
I don't blame you. I wouldn't either.
Yeah. But yeah.
How was your week, Eric?
So it was all right. Grinded away at some code. Like I said, I think this weekend I'm going to try to buckle down, try to get Argus finally released. It looks good. We had a client on it for a while. They're super happy with it. I honestly don't think we could take it away from them if we tried.
I've gotten calls from the CEO asking me about it and trying to figure out, making sure that we can't take it away from them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think I forgot to tell you about that. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
here's how
is
this
news
call
to
goes.
me.
You say, I don't know, it's a real money pit. Like, we'd have to sink a lot of dollars into it just to keep it going. Like,
No, I don't want them giving me any money for it because I don't want them
yeah, like
claiming it's
$40 or
theirs
$50.
at all.
Yeah.
We
There,
built
there was
this
all
out.
there,
We built this outside of them. Like they had
Yeah.
nothing to do with it.
I think there was already a little confusion on that. When we initially introduced the product to them, their language to us was very much like, okay, so what servers are these on? It's like, don't worry about it. They're not on your servers. They're our servers. It's our product. So we had to make sure we got that.
Did you add it to the Diego Dev website?
No, not yet. We've really kept a low profile on it. I mean, I think like I said, there was discussion initially about just having it as something Diego Dev and just offering it as part of our package to our clients. But then we're like, well, we'll just build it out, spell it out a little further, and if random people want to use it, they can use it. So,
And if people want to know more, they just go to argus.to, right?
yep, argus.to.
argus.to.
That is correct.
And you fixed the logo, too.
And
Mostly.
I did that just for you, baby. Just for you. So yeah, I think I'm going to work on that this weekend, and just get it released, get it so people can sign up. I think we have it. You get like a. I think I have it set so that you get a 45-day free trial. That way,
What?
if you have
45 days.
That way, if you have jobs that run once a month, you can catch that once a month.
No.
That sounds
That's gotta
sounds
come
reasonable.
down. That's a little
And then-
excessive.
Well, how long does it take to invoice a new service? Like if you're a company like
a day?
No, if you're a
30
company like
seconds?
mine and I check something out, I just want to take a look at it and then I say to my boss, "Well, hey, I want to use this service. I've got a free trial. What's the ETA from a developer liking this thing to it getting approved by management?"
How about we compromise at 15 days and we'll extend it if people contact us.
But then no one's going to contact you. I feel like 30 days is the happy medium.
I agree with both of you. It's going to stick at 45. And, I think you're both right. You're right with 30. He's right with 15. We'll just round it up to 45. We're good.
Add them together, you're good.
So yeah, that'll be out there. That'll be out there soon. I'm guessing Monday. I think Monday we'll do a little quiet soft launch, and maybe I'll announce it to the Patreons or something. Anybody might be interested.
Yeah, I think we need, as long as we have good like metrics and we know if it's being used, if it's not being used.
Yeah.
There's so much.
Yeah, this is where I start to get concerned about scale. It's like, okay, is this thing going to scale okay? Because this database is going to grow pretty quick, pretty fast.
Hey, don't be a downer.
I'm not.
It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. It's perfect.
Yeah, we paid a lot of money to have this thing built, so I'm going to launch it. But yeah, I think I'm excited for this weekend. I think that's what I'm going to do.
I like the fact that we can pivot, we can make changes, we can listen to feedback, grow with the product.
That's actually exactly that's one of the reasons why I want to get it released, because I want to know what I need to change, what I need to move.
Mm-hmm. We'll get there.
Was that just me that heard the beep?
Nope, I heard it too. I've been hearing weird noises coming
That's
I think Thomas is doing something.
It's you guys are hearing it, but it's not going to show up on the stream.
Yeah, no worries.
So
no worries. Hey, so did you get your package, Thomas?
No.
What?
I have received no packages.
You definitely should have gotten it by now.
That's what I'm thinking.
Huh.
I mean,
shit. I wonder if I kept a receipt for that.
Unless you like put a thing on it that said, "For Christmas, don't let Tom open it," and my wife got to it first. But
definitely
it was supposed to be like 3 to 5 business days. It's definitely been 5
it's
business
been 2
days.
weeks.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, because I sent it right before last week's show.
And I don't have a camera outside my house. I don't know if I got a porch pirate or what.
Huh. I'll have to see if I have the receipt for that and see if there's a way to. There has to be a way to track it. I sent it. Yeah, I went in and got a little receipt for it. So I'm sure there's a tracking number for it. I'll take a look for it.
There was a FedEx truck on fire down my street the other day.
Well, this is USPS, so yeah.
Well, it had run into a UPS truck.
Still not USPS, but yeah, okay.
And then my mailman ran into the scene to try to put the fire out.
He just drove his truck.
You know, mailmen.
See if there was anybody he could rescue.
He just said, "Hey, if that's what they're doing, that's a successful business model. I'm doing it too."
How about you, John? You haven't shared your week yet.
My week. Oh, let's see. Where do I start? I love unit testing.
Well, you got to start there. Okay, let's go there.
No, what were you gonna say?
I was saying you got the pleasure of doing Christmas bonuses this week. It's always kind of cool.
Pleasure. Who in their right mind goes into the accounting field? What a pain in the ass. If you are going to start a business, take accounting courses. Because I'm lucky enough to have a friend that is an accountant, like a CPA partner at a accounting firm. So he knows his stuff that I can ask questions to. And I'm like, I told him, like, I respect professionals. I expect an invoice for this because he's helped me so many times over the years, and I feel like I'm taking advantage of him. But he took the time to go.
We pay him.
We pay him for our taxes. Do you realize how little we pay him for the amount of time that I spend talking to him? That's the part that
part of the plan, man.
Yeah. So he spent time this week. I was probably on the phone with him for an hour, going through the accounting software, going through our HR software and payroll software to try and figure out different information. Yeah, it's not fun. But finally figured out.
It's always interesting the slacks that go back and forth between John and I, especially around this time of year, because it's kind of like, John will slack me, Eric, we need to talk. Bad news. We're going out of business. We have no money. And then like 3 minutes later, no, forget about that. We're okay. We got plenty of money. We're good. And then a couple minutes later, okay, we don't have as much money as I thought we had, but we can stay in business. We're doing okay.
I overheard one of these conversations, and Eric was just on the phone and said, "Shut up, look at the numbers again, and call me when you're sure we're going out of business."
It's funny because it's true. Oh, like, all right, I think I have these numbers, and here's what they mean. 20 minutes later, no, I was wrong. That's not what they mean. Here's.
According to these numbers, we went out of business 6 months ago.
It's like playing the stock market. Like 1 minute we're millionaires, and like 15 minutes later we're having to sell our homes.
I really am sorry. I do wish I knew the numbers better. I feel like we're getting there, and I've had to show our books to a couple different people recently who have said, your books are tight. Like, I haven't seen a business that keeps such great books. I'm like, yeah, but I don't understand the reports.
In all honesty, in all honesty, John does a fantastic job with it. I know he keeps saying he doesn't understand them, and that might be true, but our books are solid. Like, we track everything properly. We make sure we're paying all our taxes. It from my as his business partners. If you're listening to this show, you don't realize that John and I own a development studio called Diego Devs. So we have clients, we build applications for them, and we have employees. So this is new to us this year, the employee piece. Before, they're always contractors. But John has always done our books. We've been in business for 8 years.
8 years. Yep.
8 years. We've been
Well,
in
you
business
beat the
for
national
8 years.
average.
We've always been profitable. Yeah. We've always been profitable. And John actually does a phenomenal job on the books. I say it all the time. He could be robbing me blind, and I honestly would never know it because he does such a good job with the books.
I know how to hide money. No, I mean, no, my problem is, no, I shouldn't say problem. I am honest to a fault, which is probably good, but I also try to be way too fair at times, and that's caused issues as well. Not necessarily between you and I, but amongst everybody. And it's like, there are times.
Well, and with clients too, you're way too generous with clients.
Yeah, 45 days. What are you thinking?
I guess that's why they like you and don't like me.
What kind of crazy person just gives away 45 days of a paid service?
Yeah.
Yeah, you laugh. It's true. Just like, I feel like we owe it to them. We don't owe them crap.
It's yeah, it is true.
That's one of the.
But anyway, yes, I did.
Sorry, one of the things that constantly pops up on Reddit is if you're at a company and they say we feel like family here, run away.
I guess you need to stop saying that.
You guys are different.
We do say that. Yeah, we hope so, but we do say that we did get to. My big thing with the past couple weeks of talking with the accountant, trying to figure out where we at for the year, especially this year of all years, right? We've got not only COVID, the whole pandemic, lost business because of it. We converted contractors to employees, which is just this whole other mind-blowing thing that, there's so many entries in the accounting system that I'm not clear about. So I'm like, I don't know. Are we profitable at this point? It's flipping scary. So I spent the last 2 weeks with our accountant trying to figure out the books, trying to understand the numbers that are in there. He's been able to point out, wait, you have liabilities over here that I don't understand. Why are those there? So then I had to go, oh, I screwed up over here. These numbers shouldn't. That's why I don't understand why people go into accounting, because it makes no sense. Well, figured out my mistakes, cleared it up. We are break-even-ish, a tiny bit profitable for the year, which is great, to the point where we were able to give our employees Christmas bonuses, which is the whole reason I started this thing 2 weeks ago.
And you have a Canadian employee who I keep insisting is not worth the trouble.
Oh, good point. I've been meaning to... Wait. Yeah, so it's been a weird 2 weeks, and I'm happy that I'm done with that for now.
Till next year, yeah. You're right. It has
Don't
been
go
a
into
rough
business.
year. I mean, with COVID, oh man.
Well,
I mean, we just lost so much business.
Yeah, and
COVID.
the sad irony of having to convert everyone to employees and then having the work from home mandates.
COVID.
It's like, hey, couldn't have this been avoided? If only.
That didn't bother us too much.
Then
Everyone was remote already.
Right, the one person targeted by the law gets out of it.
Weasels out.
End of day, I'm happy about the law. I'm happy. I mean, because we were on the fence for so long about converting to employees. The fact that now, with so many people, I mean, Eric and I both talked about this for years, that you tell people we have 8 contractors working for us. we're not a real business. Now we have 8 employees. All of a sudden we're a real business, and nothing's changed except for the stupid law that forced the conversion. But I keep hoping in the back of my mind that all of the employees are happy. There's a ton. I mean, don't get me wrong. Eric and I know there's a ton that we can do better. And we strive to do so, but at the same time, we are a small business and we're trying to get shit done. Bottom line.
Well, John, you did have one revolutionary thing this week that you haven't noted yet. Yeah.
I did? Uh-oh.
GitHub.com/settings/appearance.
Oh, that. I don't know how I feel about it. So, I mean, long story short, GitHub now supports dark mode. I've been using it today, and I'm not so sure I'm a big fan of it. Gotta be honest. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just so used to their normal light mode.
I like it. I'm happy with it. I'm trying to get everything dark mode now.
I mean, for the most part, I am too, and I can't pinpoint what it is about GitHub's implementation of it. There's just something. Again, maybe it's just I'm so used to the GitHub interface as it was. It's still taking me a little bit to get used to. But I'm gonna leave it as is because I definitely prefer it.
I'm going through and removing all the names from all the last names from Patreon.
Nobody else saw this. So you didn't really need to.
No, I just had to fill the air. It's a good shout out for our Patreons, though.
Move that bottom one to the top. We've talked about that every week.
Yeah, do
that. Has anyone tried PHP 8 on their application yet? I am anxious to know.
I have not. I was going to do that last week. I said I would do that last week, and I didn't do it. No, not yet.
I still have the issue of a handful of libraries that we rely on are locked to 7 for some reason. So I mean, we have people that are looking into it and trying to reach out to make sure that those libraries get updated or figure out what we need to do, to get around that.
I had this issue this week, actually, where I had a reCAPTCHA library that I was stuck on and was marked as abandoned. And I ended up just integrating it into a vendor directory on my machine and forgetting about it completely, not having, just integrating it as part of my application.
Just force adding it, because I'm assuming your vendor directory is excluded.
No, a vendor directory in my app. So I created a separate. Right. So I created a new vendor directory for stuff that wasn't getting well supported or needed better integration or small tweaks that no one was paying attention to, and it worked out really well.
Yeah, that's good and bad. I've got lots of those libraries in this application already where, again, this thing started in PHP 4, so there's libraries that we've hacked away at for years to get them up to PHP 7 as it is now. So those are now part of the code base. So we are definitely well attuned to, if we need to, we will bring a library in and just say, screw it, it's now part of our code base. Right. But the downside is, if there are updates to it, you lose out on those.
Well, an interesting, completely sidebar note to doing that kind of thing is I played a video game a couple weeks ago, and when I beat the game, the end credits had links to all of the GPL docs for each package that they had used in their project. I thought that was very cool. Yeah, I know that's sort of only very tangentially related, but
Sony actually used to do that. Sony used to do that for all their.
It is technically required if you're using open source code to disclose the license for it in your credits. But I've never really seen it done that much. But this was a very indie game, so there was no Cyberpunk 2077.
You are stuck on that
very much
game, aren't you? Let's see. I still only play
I just met
one
Keanu
game.
Reeves. He's a terrorist.
But is he on a bus?
He's on a helicopter.
Does he have a port in the back of his head?
Yes.
Okay. That's enough of my questions. I'm done with the game.
So I'm not sure if you guys saw this this week, but StackShare, private StackShare, is now free through the GitHub Marketplace.
What is StackShare and what are you talking about?
So StackShare is, well, I was going to say it's the Stack Exchange.
I'm sure what that means.
Stuff. You know what? I asked you guys if you read your articles, and I didn't read my article. I look at it now.
Connect your repos and see all the engineering tools and services you're using across your company. Who knows how to use them and why they're using them?
Yeah, so
think of it as air traffic control for the tech stacks.
Yeah, it's a dashboard for all of your GitHub projects that gives you version numbers, stacks, and repos that use it, and how all of that stuff interrelies on each other.
Is this more meant for open source? I'm confused.
Well, one example they show here is if you've got 3 Git flow or Git projects that use Node, but they're all running different versions, it will break down which versions are running on which projects and which ones share version numbers and sub version numbers.
So this would be great if you had microservices.
It'd be great for microservices, or I mean, even as you guys, if you only want to support, a specific stack, and you've got clients who are in long-term support, then you can say, hey, these guys are running PHP 7.4, and we're already on 8 for these 3 projects, so we need to bring this project up to date so that our support structure matches the work we're expecting.
That's a fascinating use case. I like that.
Yeah, so it's a new free thing on the GitHub Marketplace, which I didn't even know was a thing.
Sync up to 5 repos. Cool. Eric, something for us to look at.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, push that off to my CTO.
I have a question for Eric, because I think you looked at this more than I did. The Laravel sale.
Yes, Laravel sale. I'm actually very
You're
happy
using
with
it.
So
what is on sale?
Laravel.
Yeah.
Argus?
Argus is free for the first 45 days.
45-day free trial, baby.
And then it's on sale? I'm confused.
Well, then early bird just ends.
No, Laravel sale, SAIL, is a new functionality of Laravel out of the box now. There are steps involved where if you want to add it after the fact, if you already have Laravel 8 apps out there, and you would add sail to it. Some people have written up some steps on how to do that. It's just a matter of requiring the repo and doing a sail install. It's really not that difficult. I haven't done it to any of my existing apps because most of my existing apps already have this setup in there. But what sail is a Docker implementation for Laravel. So, and it's very weird because it mimics very much our workflow with Docker. So it installs. I'm going to give Laravel. I'm going to give Taylor a ton of credit for this one because I'm very happy with the way he implemented it. It's a standard Docker deployment. It installs a Docker Compose file in your root directory, which if you want to go in there and modify it, if you want to add services, you're more than welcome to do all that. There's no trickery, there's no magic there. If you understand Docker, you're fine. If you don't, you're fine. Because once you new up a Laravel application, a Laravel 8 application, you have the sail functionality available to you. And they suggest creating an alias, and I did this, create an alias for sail, but if you don't create an alias, you have to go into your vendor bin sail directory, and you just do sail up, and it spins up the Docker containers that include it includes the PHP, Nginx, I think it is, MySQL. He even included Mailhog, and a few other services that you typically need with a Laravel application, and that's it. You have your full stack.
What is Sail doing that Docker Compose isn't, other than giving you a default Docker Compose.yaml file?
So you know what Sail is, John? Sail is the script that we have in our deployments to shortcut the Docker commands. So when we create our deployments, we typically create a script in there that will shortcut all the Docker commands. So we have one for like Argus. If you run Argus Tinker, it opens up the Tinker interface within the Docker container. If you run,
it gives you a lot of commands that make the Docker exec-it Docker container
very transparent. So you run, in Sail's case, you run sail art migrate. It runs migrations within the Docker container. The sail shortcuts, the script that, and all it is just Docker commands that if you know Docker, you can manually run. They're just long commands. They're not really worth it.
Yeah, they suck.
The sail so it's very nice. Pretty much everything you need to do. You can even open up a command prompt. I forget what the sail command is for that. It might even be sail bash or something. You can open up the command prompt within the Docker container. It really lowers the bar of entry for people who've been wanting to use Docker in their application and they struggle to get their head around how to implement it. This is probably one of the best, cleanest implementations of Docker I've seen for projects. And really, I would love to see more frameworks, more things like WordPress, things like Drupal. All these projects should be adopting this workflow and just saying, hey, it's there if you want it. You don't need to use it, but it's very easy to get up and running.
To me, the nicest...
So they make Dusk very easy.
The nicest thing is that it's Mac OS, Linux, and Windows via WSL2.
Yeah, it's just because it's Docker.
Right.
That's all it is a simplified script to make running Docker easier. The bash command you're talking about is sail shell.
There you go. Yeah.
It gets you.
So it's a very.
I'm in my containers all the time like that.
Yeah, as am I. So one of the questions that popped up in one of the Discord channels, I think it was Joe Ferguson in our Discord channel, says it'll be interesting when somebody actually uses that to deploy to production. It's like
interesting. I don't know if that's the word I would use.
I mean, that's what the purpose of Docker is. You run the same containers in production that you do in development.
Yeah, it just scares me.
I mean, it's what we do for our clients. I haven't looked close enough at the Docker configuration to know if I would be concerned about it, but I'm not overly, like, red flags aren't coming up for me at all.
No, because they're not. I don't think they're using proprietary containers. They're using the standard PHP containers, MySQL containers, Redis containers. It's just all there and available to you to run.
Right. So I applaud. I mean, this was probably one of the better things to come out of Laravel in a while. I definitely have to applaud Taylor and the Laravel team, whoever helped on it. It was very well done, very well implemented.
Awesome. Good job, Taylor and team.
Now, I was gonna get back. I haven't tried PHP 8 yet, but you know what I did do this week,
What?
Thomas? John helped me with Xdebug 3.
Oh, nice.
I got Xdebug 3 running. Yeah, it wasn't as simple as one line either. Took 2 or 3 lines, but we got it.
Yeah, it's not just do it, but
it wasn't hard. It's more that when you have existing configuration, the documentation wasn't as clear as I'd like. As ignore the remote_star settings that you used to have. It replace remote host with whatever it is now, client host, which in hindsight is very easy to do, but I would like the documentation, like, hey, if you're upgrading from Xdebug 2 to 3, here's the exact changes you need to make for everything to be seamless. I assumed, it's now listening on 9003, or it's trying 9003, everything's good, because we still have the remote host in there. Why change the key? What benefit did that give him from going from remote host to client host?
So, from what I could tell, the logic there was just improving the linguistic intentions, because you could be running Docker on one machine and it says, what's the remote port. That sounds like it's the port on the remote machine, not on the machine running Xdebug. And he had said in one of his blog posts that a lot of the issues that he had with people complaining about configuration was that the environmentals that he had declared were just named poorly. That they couldn't understand that remote port meant the port to be connected to by the remote machine. And so a lot of...
Maybe I'm just so familiar with the configuration that doesn't make sense. I would rather, instead of this big change, I mean, I understand it's already a major upgrade from 2 to 3, but so many people have their configuration already set up. I would have loved to have seen it still honor. Like, if you have client host set up, use it. If not, is remote host set up and emit some sort of warning somewhere.
For a full version number change, I kind of don't care.
I do, because usually there's some sort of deprecation, so this is coming. Maybe there was, and I just didn't know. At least I'm being overly picky, and I shouldn't be. But I think within a PHP library, if you're upgrading a major version, you still have some sort of deprecation, like, hey, this is going to change in the next major.
Well, version. I had hoped so, but Faker just went, I'm dead now. You killed me.
Yeah.
It's been picked up by somebody else, hasn't it?
It's been picked up by Taylor. It is now Faker PHP /Faker, and because Faker's namespace was originally just /Faker, it didn't have a project name in the namespace. You can just switch over your composer to the new version, and you don't have to change anything.
Yeah. Good.
Oh, I got Livewire pushed
I
to production
saw
for a
that.
client. Yes, I'm very excited
not
about
excited.
that.
I was not consulted. Not feeling like the senior engineer that I am.
Root. I'm happy. Our next project that we're working on at Diego Dev is going to be heavy on Livewire. So very excited about that.
I bet. I'm not feeling Livewire.
My plan is coming together.
Have you
now I have to.
Or are you just...
I'm the client he was talking about. Yeah, it's our composer JSON got updated, produced a horrific collision on merge because now there's Livewire commands being executed after composer install. So at some point I'll have to look at it, I'm sure. Fortunately, Eric's got me worked out with the git blame in line with your code on PHP Storm.
What's there to get worked out? It should just
no.
work.
It's an add-on that you have to specifically install.
Extension.
Is it
Did
really?
I give you the right plugin?
You did. It required some tweaking and I think restarting the IDE as well. But now it definitely says when you did something.
I'm still confused. I thought that was part of PHP Storm itself.
It's not. Unless it is now, unless it's a new default add-on.
No, well, it depends. Do you know what the plugin is? Maybe I didn't realize it.
Wasn't like Git
Toolbox?
Toolbox
Git Toolbox.
Yeah, Git
Well,
Toolbox.
I'm gonna have to check see if I have that installed. Maybe I do, and I'm just like light years ahead. I don't know. Hey, Git Toolbox I do not have installed.
But you do have inline git blame?
Inline, or I right-click in my gutter?
No, inline.
No, this is inline.
This is when your cursor is on a line, it will say who committed that line and when, and it'll give you the commit log for that line.
And it's very non-intrusive. It's very, very faint, and it's at the end of the line, so it doesn't interrupt your.
Yeah, it's very nice.
I'm gonna try it. I might be cursing you.
Git Toolbox.
It's installed.
Yeah, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
Unless, I installed it, and all of a sudden I've got stack trace errors in my PHP Storm.
Yeah, but you get to know whose fault those stack trace errors are.
JetBrains currently is who's to blame.
Liability gone.
There you go.
Oh, you guys.
All right. Do I have anything to talk about? I think I had something. Oh, did you guys hear about them wanting to break up Facebook? Or
I
basically
it showed up on my feed, and I was like, yeah, whatever. Like,
I don't think this is going to be honest with you. That's what I thought at first too. I'm like, yeah, whatever. But Facebook is really kind of looking like the way they were positioned, especially this last year of this presidency, as like the bad guy. Even though it was proven several times that they were blocking, everything was being even.
Other way around. It was believed by the public that Facebook was censoring the right, when in fact Facebook was promoting far right far more than left leaning content. So it's literally the opposite of what they thought it was.
So there is now a Facebook antitrust lawsuit happening. It's backed by like a dozen different states, and what they're claiming now is anti-competitive behavior, which I think we can all agree Facebook has done.
Absolutely, but I mean, them buying Instagram was approved by the FTC.
Well, that's what they're doing now. They're making it so that any purchases Facebook has to go through the government, and it has to be evaluated to see if it's, because I don't think anybody was paying attention back then, and it's kind of showing. And like I said, with this last year of the presidency, it's really brought a light to how much power these social media companies are getting. I mean, they probably have more power than the news media does.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
It's becoming evident. It's like, okay, we need to figure out, how to handle this. And then you have people like Facebook who have now a track record of either buying their competitors or duplicating their competitors' product and basically running them into the ground.
Well, they bought Oculus, which I thought was crazy. What a weird thing for them to buy.
Well, what they bought WhatsApp. They bought WhatsApp for $22 billion. WhatsApp, which doesn't make $22 billion and never will make $22 billion. Facebook has a messaging platform, but they didn't want that competition.
Well, they needed it for China because WhatsApp was approved in China.
Yeah. All right.
I was gonna say we look at our small bubble, but there are these apps that are used heavily outside the U.S. that aren't used here.
Yeah, India's a huge market and China's a huge market, and the India cell phone market is weird.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I was going down to Mexico, I worked for a company where I would go down into Mexico, like Guadalajara, on a fairly regular basis, and everybody down there used WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Everybody used WhatsApp. I have WhatsApp because of that, because that's how they communicated with me. But, yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, it's a weird thing. It's like, okay, yeah, how can you call them a monopoly when there's so many other competitors out there? But then it's like, are they really? So I'll post the article in the show notes, but in the article it shows like the top 3 social networking medias are all Facebook owned. It was like Facebook, I think it was Facebook, Snapchat, and WhatsApp.
No, Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, not Snapchat.
And they're trying to compete with Snapchat.
Well, Snapchat is one of the use cases where they said, oh yeah, Facebook just implemented stories on Facebook timelines and on Instagram, which completely tanked Snapchat's stock. They only did that after they had tried to buy Snapchat, and Snapchat said, no, we're gonna try to do this on our own. And they were like, all right, well then we will duplicate your product and we'll just put you out of business that way. So it is, I don't know, man. It's weird. Yeah. It's weird, but it might be time for it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I feel about it, to be honest with you.
What if
I always wonder, how do you break up a company? Like, I know they've done it with big companies in the past, but when you come to global communications like we have now, how do you break it up? Or in the past, I could see via state borders and all. But
one example I can give you is when Facebook killed the Twitter API so that you couldn't post to simultaneously to Twitter and then Facebook.
Oh, that's their other method. They buy, they duplicate, or they deny.
Right.
And that was another use case where they's like, okay, if we can't buy you, if we can't duplicate you, then we're just going to deny you access to the Facebook API.
Yeah. So they could force an open API. They could force the separation. This is one thing that's been done in the past. The separation of the monetization company and the product company. So Facebook would still function exactly the same, but the company that ran ads on Facebook would be a separate entity and would have to purchase the rights to publish ads on Facebook. And the right to do that would have to be available to other companies as well. So if I wanted to start running my own special ad campaigns on Facebook, I didn't have to buy it at their pricing. I got to buy it at their internal price to run ads. Another thing is separating Facebook from WhatsApp and from Instagram, making those separate business entities. And a lot of...
But aren't they still run by the same people? I mean, how do you stop that?
Because theoretically
together?
they're cutting down on costs by having tools that only they can use. Whereas if you force these tools to become separate entities, then the cost savings that they're making ends up getting passed on to their competitors.
I guess I'm
well,
not
like
understanding how that happens. If you separate Instagram from Facebook, the people at the top can
they
still
can, but they're not supposed to.
work.
There has to be
together.
instead of Mark Zuckerberg saying to his guys at Instagram, "We're doing this now." Mark Zuckerberg has to negotiate a contract with the CEO of Instagram, and there has to be a legal relationship between the two that can be defined as competitive or anti-competitive. Because right now, no one can communicate with Instagram without going through Facebook. No one can make a deal with Instagram. Whereas if Instagram was a separate company that Zuckerberg didn't own, then I could contact Instagram and say, hey, I've got a better deal at advertising rates. I've got a better client list. You can use mine. And the company would be forced to make the decision that's in the best interest of the investors.
Wait. Do you have a company listening in on everybody's phone call so you know what they're talking about so you can advertise to them? Then you're not going to get the contract. Sorry. Don't know what to tell you.
As he shakes his head.
No, I mean, it was done with AT&T back in the 80s. There was the Ma Bell turned into the Baby Bells. And that's where the competition in the, I don't know if you guys remember it, the 10-10-90 stuff, the long distance calling cut rate thing. If you were watching TV in the 90s, you couldn't avoid a TV ad that told you to dial some 5-digit number before you made your collect calls. That was a result of the Bell companies breaking up. Is that now they all had to compete with each other, and so they all had their own discounted rates because the telephone lines were established as Title II, which meant that they were renting them from the government as a provider of the service. So, and that led to Verizon, and it led to MCI, Virgin. Now, of course, they're all AT&T again. But that's because of the political maneuverings of the 80s and 90s, where Republicans got in charge and said, "Hey, let the big guys get back together. Our rates have gone up." And you go, "They haven't gone up." And they said, "No, it'll trickle down. Don't worry." And you're like, "What? That's not what we're talking about." And they said, "Shut up. There's a war over there. Look." And then you went, "Oh God, a war!" And now it's been the same war for 14 years. 19 years. Sorry, not to get into politics, but oopsie.
Yes, let's not do that. Hey, I do want to address Brian Johnson in chat. Didn't make a comment about sale, Laravel sale. He says R.I.P. Homestead. That might be a little early to call that. I think Homestead is still a valid product. I think Homestead offers things to developers that Docker out of the box today, or I'm sorry, Sail out of the box today doesn't. Again, if you understand Docker, you know how to use it. You can change all this. But Homestead, you can use multiple versions in one instance of Homestead. You can use multiple versions of PHP in one instance of Homestead. In Docker, you kind of have to commit to what version of PHP you want. Homestead, allows you to host multiple sites. So you have one Homestead box, and all your Laravel projects are served up with that site. That's actually very useful if you're doing microservices, and you're having to talk to, like, you have like 3 apps running, and then you want a parent app running. Again, you can do this in Docker. We've talked about it in the past of having multiple sites run in Docker. It's a little trickier. You can do it, but you have to understand Docker and how to do it. And it's not something that Sail does out of the box. Will it do it someday? Probably.
I was actually specifically looking for that.
And contribute. Yeah, somebody will start to contribute back to the project to do things like this. But when it was released, the only database it had was MySQL. It's literally just a matter of adding another container for Postgres. It runs on a completely different port. It would take nothing to add it to it. I'm sure they will do that eventually. And then you have a big user base that's just used to Homestead. So Homestead still has some advantages over the default Sail implementation. I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon. But eventually, I'm sure it'll die eventually. But I know the guy behind Homestead, and he's pretty committed to it. He's pretty focused on it. He keeps it up to date. He keeps it going real well. He's always adding features to it. So I think you're good. If you're using Homestead, I think you're good. I think Sail is a nice alternative. I think Sail will be the future, but it's got some ways to go before it has all the bells and whistles.
Laravel specifically.
I think it's the future for web specifically, but yeah.
Yeah. So a VM definitely has its perks, especially it's easier to understand, easier to get up and running as you get your head around Docker, and all you can do with it, it's just a natural progression. But he also brings up the point of running Docker on a Linux machine. He specifically says System 76, but I am so happy running a Linux system now with Docker because the speed improvements is...
We need to reach out to System 76.
Right? Completely night and day.
We need to see if they'll sponsor us.
But it's not a System 76.
No, but
thing.
I mean, I think we're 6 episodes into saying System 76 every episode. Just reach out. Just...
If only we had a marketing department. Hey, if you're listening to us and you have a System 76 machine, just email them and say, hey, you have one because of PHP Ugly.
Yeah.
Can't hurt.
Yeah, just hashtag System 76, hashtag PHP Ugly.
And if every one of our Patreons did that 10 times, I'm sure...
Speaking of our Patreons...
Patreons!
Thank you so much for all your support.
We do appreciate it.
For the sake of anonymity, I have removed all of your last names.
Such a
but
nice
if you want
guy.
to see him, go back to previous episodes.
Okay, hacker.
I blurred it out. I go in each one and blur it out.
Do you really? Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I didn't know you did that.
But yeah, thank you, Patreons. We appreciate your support. As a thank you, you will get 45 free days of Argus when we launch.
At least we know the title. We know the title of this episode now.
Launch the damn thing.
45 free days of Argus.
45 free days. It's gonna be Argus Take Sale. Argus Take Sale. Oh man,
it works.
All right.
Thank you so much for listening. It's been fun, but this has been
short,
a long
actually.
episode.
Oh wow, no, it has been long.
Man. We like you guys hanging out with us too.
It's been very long.
We actually got started on time this time.
Yeah.
Oh. All All right, I think that's going to do it for episode 216 of PHP Ugly. I'm Eric.
I'm Tom.
I'm John.
Keep it ugly.
Keep it ugly.
I keep forgetting to use the right.
One,
I keep
two,
forgetting
one,
to use
two.
the right Oh, that's why. I forgot that I
Why,
broke
what
my
happened?
transitions when my computer tried to kill itself.
Well, transition over to Harry Mack.
One, two. Coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John, you know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They're getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all. Peace to the whole squad, man. Hope your channel is doing real well on YouTube. Hope you guys are having fun. And it was an honor and blessing to do this little custom freestyle for y'all. Hope you enjoy. Stay up. Yeah. Come on. Hey.
Throughout the episode,
in Skype.
if you were watching, I kept pulling like my glasses down and then back up. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need glasses so bad. Just this tiny prescription that I've had for probably 5-6 years now is so much better than my current vision.
They're a little
Did nothing at all.
A little out of style.
When I first got these, way out of style. When I first got them, it was more just, hey, when you're sitting in front of the computer screen, put these on. It'll relieve the strain. And I didn't see any difference, so I was like, screw it. I'm not gonna wear them. Now it's like, yeah, huge difference.
Now when I take mine off, it feels like I'm wearing someone else's prescription. Like I've gotten so used to it in just like 3 or 4 days that I take them off and I go, oh wow, whose glasses am I wearing? Like this is not normal. That and I learned not to take them off while I'm staring at something in the distance, because that immediately makes me nauseous. So I have to close my eyes to take them off. But hey,
John,
I'm already so used to you with them on.
I know,
you look
right?
Weird with them off.
it does. It looks very normal. You wearing them looks very normal. Yeah. John, I need you to take a look at the website, man. I can't figure out the hell's wrong with this thing.
I'll figure it out later. I wasn't like overly concerned. It was like, why'd you bring this up on the show? Because all of this is distract us.
Yeah,
I was like, that could have waited.
I thought it was going to be something simple. I can't
restart the
figure it out,
instance.
I'm going to take a break. I did. That's what I did it a couple times. I mean, the blog is up. All the other sites on there are up.
I had an issue with Jose today where he wasn't getting the results he expected on a ticket I had worked on, and after like 30 minutes of trying to figure out what was wrong, I realized that he was on the wrong branch.
I had that issue the other day, man. I was had a problem, and I went back and looked. I'm like, none of this is right. Like, all my code is gone. And I realized, fuck, I'm on the wrong branch. Actually, I say that, and actually, no, everything does look down. sdphp.org. What the fuck is going on with this box? All right, I'm not gonna spend any more time on it. I'll tackle it in the morning if you have time, John. I'll tackle it with you, but I don't know what's going on with it.
All right, John, and if you...
Well, I can tell you on the box that comes up. Weird. All I see is a PHP info script.
I am going to end the stream.
Whoa.
Thank you, all of our wonderful fans, for watching. It's always great to talk to you guys on Discord and stuff. And we will see you next week.